live or if you're joining on the replay. I'm so glad you're here with me. And I have a special treat today. I want to show you a brand new product. It's called Waves of the Ocean is the suite. And it's here only for limited time. Well, the stamp set and the dies are going to carry over into the next catalog, which comes out in May. So that's cool. But these are only while supplies last, and they're gorgeous rhinestones, all in blues and greens. And then this paper, I just love it. It's Waves of the Ocean, I think is the name. Yeah, Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper. And you get two of each design. So this is one side, and then this is the other side. And this was created by the artist by pouring paint, hand pouring paint. So I guess these are all the bubbles and they mix together. I am not an artist, so that's why I go for the stuff that other people make. But I love the richness of the blues in here, and they're just fun. I love them. So look at this. You can do so much with these. And here's, so it has Calypso Coral, and I think Night of Navy, and Pacific Point. So this one I used for another card. But aren't they beautiful? I love the richness of it and all the bubbles and everything. I think this would be fun to use for other kinds of cards, not just ocean. So these are, let me just see what other colors. So it's Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, Night of Navy, Pacific Point, and Petal Pink. So that is the paper. And then on top of that, we have blue foils. So this is gorgeous. You get two of each of these, and I have the cardboard in the way here. So you get this foil paper, and you're going to see my reflection. Isn't that beautiful? So you get two of this color, which I think might be Coastal Cabana and maybe Night of Navy. And then you get this like silver color. So you get two of each. And I would just be careful of how you're cutting it so you get the most out of it. And I'll show you a tip on that. So this is the card we're going to make today. And it's a happy birthday. And I actually cut the clouds out of some of that paper. I stamped and then I layered with some of the foil. And I love this little, I guess he's a pelican sitting on the posts here. So let's get started with the card. Oh, and I just want to show you. So I made a card last week. Every Saturday I do a sketch challenge. I follow one. It's Atlantic Heart sketch challenges. And it was a slimline card, and it had 3 squares in it. So I decided to use the paper. I had just gotten it in the mail. And then I used the Seize the Day. So this is a great set to go with that paper. Just as a side note there. So hi, let me see. So I have some folks here. I don't know if I'm going to say your name, from the Netherlands. Ineke? I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. And then Kathy. Thanks so much. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is stamp the ocean. And I'm going to use my Stamparatus on this, because it's quite a big stamp. I don't know if you guys use this at all. It's a stamp positioning tool, and it's really great for when you have a big stamp. We do have a big block, but it makes it a little bit hard to maneuver with your hands. For me, anyway, I have a hard time holding it in place and getting it in the right place. So I'm going to just put a piece of 4 by 5 1/4. And I don't like to go too far into the spine because you don't get as much pressure when you're putting it down. So I'm going to just kind of line this up. And this tool allows you to stamp and then stamp again to get a really good solid image. But I'm just going to put my stamp down. So this is that big wave. And you'll see that there's kind of an edge. I want it to kind of go below and outside, because I want it to go right to the bottom of the paper. And you'll see that there's a little bit of white left over, and that's okay, because I'm just going to cut it down when we're done. So you place your cardstock down, you place your stamp down, and then when you close the door, it sticks to the stamp. And then you can ink it and go a couple of times. Now I like to put my stamp case here, and then I'm going to ink with Pacific Point ink, And I just want to get it nice and inked up. And then when I close the door, it'll stamp. So let's try this. And if I don't get a good image, I can just pick it up and stamp it again. I usually have a piece of scrap paper underneath it. I'm probably going to get some ink on the base, but I can just wipe that off. Isn't that beautiful? I love the whites and the blues. I really think Stampin' Up! Has been really doing a great job with their different shading on their stamps. Lately they seem to be doing a lot of that. Let me put this away. Okay, so Inanka, am I saying that right? Inanka, that's what it looks like to me. Thank you. I'm not very good with with names and spellings and things like that. So there's our first part done. Now the next part is to layer some of this foil and the dies. So the dies I didn't really explain, but some of them add some kind of outlining to this stamped image. And then you have a couple that will go with your sentiments. And then there's the one that goes with this guy. And then there's the clouds. And I just love the clouds because they give you kind of an embossed look in there. And then I think, I haven't used these, but I think these might be some just extra splashes. And then there's birds. So these are great. So we're going to use both of these dies, and they're a little bit different. So you'll see they look almost the same, but one comes up higher and this one is rounded. So you'll see they kind of fit together. So one is back here and the other one is here. So that's pretty cool. And I already cut one out. I am layering it with a piece of the adhesive strip. So I thought I had a piece cut here. And I'm not seeing it. So let me see. So we have these adhesive strips, or sheets I should say, and I would cut it a little bit smaller. I thought I had one already cut, so we're going to cut it live here. So let me get my trimmer. And these are great when you're cutting something that's very, this is the backing of the other one. So this one is already cut and has the backing on it. So I left this so it didn't get stuck anywhere. So that's just the piece I would throw away. So let's get our trimmer in the right direction for me. And this, so this piece that I cut is 2.5 by 5.5. I measured the die to see and made it just a little tad bigger. And then I want to make this a little tiny bit smaller so I can work with it. So I'm going to go, it's 2.5, so I'm going to go just a little bit under 2.5. And you get, so in this pack you get their 6 by 12 and you get 12 sheets of them. And they're really fantastic for kind of making a sticker. So I'm going to go 5.5 and just one under. And then you can, you don't have to glue. It just makes it a little bit easier. So let's put this aside. I've got piles everywhere. Okay. And then we're going to take our blue, and I like to cut this down to the size I'm going to feed it in, because this will pick up the impression of your plate on your die cutting machine. So you don't want to waste a whole big sheet. I really try when I'm using any kind of foil to just use the size that I need. So this one I did kind of the rounded one. So this one I'm going to do the big square one. And the first thing I'll do is I'm going to turn this over, and let me see if I can find the end here. Here it is. And this is, to me, backwards. I thought this was the backing. This is actually the sticky. It's very strange to me. I don't know if it's me or if it's a thing. So I'm going to just fit this right here, and it is very, very sticky. So you don't really want to touch it to anything else. And then this is another sticky piece. So we'll just put this on the edge. And that little gap helps you to remove it. Although with this, we're going to have all kinds of little pieces. So we're just going to put it down. And then we're going to use this and put it through our die cutting machine. Now this will fit in the mini machine. So this is our mini stamp and cut and emboss machine. I just have a hard time saying that. And I have some news on this. This is going to be on sale 20% off starting March, for the month of March 1st till the 31st. And there are also going to be some bundles that will be on sale 20% off that are compatible with this. So this, you need to have a, I think it's about 3 inches, 3.5 inches. You don't want anything wider than that. It won't fit in this. You need the bigger machine. And then also with the embossing, these small ones fit in, these don't. So it's your decision. I have both machines. I like this little machine just to have at my desk because a lot of dies fit in them. There may be one main die in a die set that doesn't, but like all the little flowers and leaves and all of that stuff, it just makes it easier. I just want to make sure this is in the right place. Let me put a little piece of tape on it just to make sure it doesn't shift. It's kind of tight. I try not to waste this kind of paper, so I make it very tight. So let's just put this through. And I'm just going slow so I don't shake the table too much. And I'm going to go back. So this is, I hope it didn't shift. I'm just looking, it looks like it might have shifted at the end. This I want to go through twice because it's a little bit thicker and it does have that backing, that adhesive sheet. So it just made it, phew. I'm going to just pull this off and then I will get, let's put this aside. And I'm going to get my little brush and let's take this off and kind of brush these out. Now these might be a little tougher than your normal die cutting because it does have that backing and sometimes the sticky will come off. You'll pull off the back and it actually pulls off where the sticky is. So just be careful. I mean, it's pretty easy, but you might have to pull a few of them out. Use the other end of this. See, it's stuck to the backing a little bit. But it works. And sometimes the backing will just come off and then you've got, it's a little bit sticky, like right here. So I'm going to just tear this off. So I'm tearing off the backing as well as pulling the pieces out. So on some of them. Okay, I think we have one more. And then we can layer this up. So let's pull this out. And there's the little holes to help you pull it out if it gets stuck in the die. So let's put this away. And so this one I already cut. And as I said, some of the backing came off a little bit, so I'm just laying it on the release paper. So now we decide what we want to do. Do we want to start with the dark and then add this? On this one, I did it the opposite way. So I had the lighter color as the more square, and I put that down first. And I think I will do that. And I did trim this off. So I am going to trim this off again. See, it's just a little bit smaller, but on this end, this will cover it perfectly. But then there's this little bit of weight on this end. So I'm going to just trim this down. I don't really have the sizing for it. It's just, you know, trim it down to that size. How's that go? So let's just take this and I'm just going to line this up and just trim it down. So it's probably, let's see what it is. It's about 5 and a little bit more than 1/8. So that's kind of a funny thing to cut for real. So let's put this one down first, and you just use your tool to pick up the release paper, or your fingernail, whichever works best, and you'll just pull this all off and this gets thrown away. And if you don't have that, you can use just plain old glue or whatever adhesive you usually work with. So I'm going to just try to get this all the way down across the bottom, end to end, and then push it down. You know what, I think there's still some release paper on here. It mustn't have taken the whole thing off. So let's see. Let's dissect this a little bit. There we go. So I guess that's a tip, is to make sure your backing is off completely. Let's see. I can see it coming apart here. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. There we go. Let's pull it off. And hopefully it will all come off nicely. Okay. So now it will settle down. So isn't that pretty just on its own? So it's nice and glittery. Looks like I might have lifted up a piece here. So on the next one, I'll show you how to do it the right way. Just bear with me. It's funny when you're doing something live and it just doesn't work. I did it for practice and it worked like a charm. But I think it just cut off some of the pieces. My eyes aren't what they used to be. Let's see. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to find a little area that I can dig into. So I think it's a lot of different pieces here. Let's see. Pull this off. All right, let's try this again. Okay, now it's down and now you can see. So you can just leave it like this. You don't have to add the next color to it. So this is the next color. And it's just a little bit different, so you get both of them. So let's take the backing off of this and let's try to get the whole backing off before we place it down. So you just pull it up. There's a lot of little pieces. I think that's it. So let's get here. So it's a little patience, but that's okay. So I got this, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago, and I really haven't played with it till today. So I want to play more with it, but I love the set. I love the gems. I think they're just so pretty, and I kind of wish they were carrying over. Sometimes I get upset when things don't carry over, things that I love. But then they always come out with something new that you have to have. Right? Looks like there might be one little piece here. So just make sure it's all off. Oh, there we go. I think we got it. Okay. So now with this one, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just go corner to corner, and it's made, whoops, there's a piece. Oh my goodness. It's made to layer. So you don't have to worry about offsetting it yourself, which makes it really nice. Okay, so now we have our beautiful wave. And then what I did was I wanted to get this little pelican sitting on the pier or the posts, I don't know what they're called. And I wanted to make him different colors, so I went to my Stampin' Write markers and I used soft suede. And now you can't use your blends on this because you're coloring on your red rubber. So you want to use the Stampin' Write. They're water-based. The others are alcohol, and they won't stamp, first of all. They'll color your stamp. That doesn't really clean up very well. And I think if you did it enough times, you could possibly dry out the rubber because it's alcohol. So I'm going to just color this, and you could use whatever colors you want. I chose soft suede. I saw that online where I can look at it. It looked like people were just, or the samples were just using the, what is it, smoky slate. So I'm actually going to use crushed curry on the beak before we go with the smoky slate. So we're just going to color this little beak. It's hard to tell but I think it's fine if it's off a little bit. You know me, I'm off a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to color the body, make sure we get around the head. The other alternative is you can stamp a light color to make sure you've got everything colored and then add color. So we're going to do this on a piece of scrap and then we're going to cut it out. So it's nice that there's a die for this. Okay, so I think that's pretty. And we'll do the same thing on the inside, but let's leave it like this for now. I already cut my clouds, like I told you. I just found, I wanted this, and then I love the blue in there, and there's a little green. I don't know if green really goes with clouds, but, and they're really made where you can layer them as well if you wanted to. So you could have the cloud behind. Maybe we'll do that this time. So this paper is just so pretty. If I bought anything, I think if I couldn't buy the whole thing, I would buy the paper and the foil paper and this, because I love them the best. But I had to get the whole thing. So let's get the die that matches this guy. And we'll cut this, and we also need to cut the happy birthday. We'll do that separate. And usually I have it already cut, but sometimes when I stamp, I like to stamp it and then cut it. So we're going to just fit this right around, and let's put this on to make sure it doesn't shift. And this will be easy to cut, just one pass. So this whole set will work with the mini. Let me see some of the comments here. The splatches are meant to be clouds. Okay. Yeah, I love the impression on the clouds. Oh, so you're talking about these. Aha. I'll have to try that. I didn't think about that. Thank you. Sometimes I look at a die and I'm like, what is that? So this is what layers over. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm going to have to try that. I won't try it right now. Maybe I'll try one if you guys want to hang out at the end. So we're going to put him there. And then, thank you for sharing that, because I didn't know that at all. And then let's see if this will fit here. If I do my sentiment, that'll be a little tight right there. So let's get our sentiment and stamp that. And why can't I find the stamp? Did I put it away? Oops, I did put it away. And I just dropped it. Okay, you know, I was putting my stickers on my stamps, and I guess I put it away. So let's get this mounted. And we'll use the Pacific Point again. I love this color for oceans and water and skies and stuff. So I don't normally use it, but I thought it was perfect for this. So we'll do happy birthday and close this up. Now I'm wondering about the clouds. I think that's pretty cool. And then we can line this up. So you can either cut it out or stamp it and then cut it out. You know, cut it out and stamp it, or stamp it, whichever is your choice. Sometimes I like to stamp it first so I get it all nice and straight, especially with the red rubber. Oops. When you're using the photopolymer, it's very easy to stamp straight, but the red rubber, not always so easy. So we're almost done with the front, and I love that that there's holes in the side of this die, so you can feed ribbon through. I ended up feeding some of the twine through, see? So I thought that was pretty cool. So let's put this aside again and pull this down and kind of figure out where we want things. So I want him right over here in the corner. It's a little crowded, and I wasn't sure about everything, where I was going to put everything. But I think I'm going to do it the same way. I mean, you can layer these clouds together. Shall we try to, let me see what this other cloud looks like, right? And I'm going to do the same little paper that I did before because I thought this was pretty. So let's put, whoops, my fingers are a little sticky. Let's put this there and this there and see what it looks like. See, I love to play, and I love that we all share. It's great to have ideas from someone else. So you saw it in a demo. Okay. So this is what cut out. All right. I may need your help. Let's see. I think, would this go this way? Oh, I wonder if it would be better. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty cool. And then this one goes right here, just to give it a little bit more dimension. Look at that. Now I probably should have, or does this go this way? I probably should have cut it again with, no, it's got to go this way, with the, backed it with the adhesive sheets. So what do you guys think? Should I put that on there? Let's try to glue it down a little bit. And it probably would be nice in a different color. Not the green though, that would be a little weird. Although I do have a little green in the cloud. That's what I love about nature, right? There's so many different colors in the sky, grass, trees. It's really amazing. God did a great creation, didn't he? Things we can't even think of until you see it in nature. Okay. There we go. So that just gives it a little something something there. So let's put this one down. I'm learning as we go. And I'll probably have a little more glue on my fingers than I want. But that's okay. So it just lines up right at the bottom. How cool is that? Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Okay. Let's see. I'm all sticky. Wiping my hands on my pants, see if that will help. All right, so the other thing I did was I took some of our twine, and this comes in a pack. You get 4 of them in the pack now. So I just took some, I think this is taupe, so I thought it would match well with the is it a pylon? I'm going to call it, I don't know, part of the pier, whatever they're called. I just thought it would match that thingamabopper. How's that? So I'm going to feed this through, and then I'll cut off the ends. And I put a little bit of Scotch tape in the back of this just to hold it in place. So we'll feed that one through. And then I know it's a little bit long, but I wanted to be able to pull it back and forth. And then we can trim it down. I don't think I'll put this tape in. I think the last time when I did the sample, I ended up putting the tape in, and it had a hard time with it being not bumpy. This looks bumpy to me. So let's just cut off some ends. Cut it a little even. And then cut off these ends. I just wanted to do something with it, and I don't know. What do you think? That's okay. So let's get some dimensionals and start putting this together. And I was back and forth on whether to use Night of Navy for my card base, and I went with the Pacific Point just because I hadn't used it in such a long time. I feel like I use Night of Navy a lot, which I absolutely love. I'm just going to cut down a couple of these little ends here. I like to use the little pieces. You can use your minis as well, just to make it nice and secure. And we'll do one down here. We'll put this guy down. So you don't know who exactly it was that shared. Well, that's okay. We all share, and you know, sometimes I see somebody do something and I give them credit, but sometimes I'm not sure if they're the ones that were the originators. You know, it's hard to know because so many things get passed around and around and around. So on this, maybe I will put the tape down just to hold it in place. I just needed a little piece. Well, let's put the dimensionals right over it. How's that sound? Right over it. It's a little bumpy for them. That's what I don't like. I don't like going over the ribbon or the twine. But that's okay. Let's see how it works. See, this one just seems a little bumpy to me. I was trying to go above and below it with the little side parts. But let's see how this will work. Right about there, and I could cut these down if I want. See, and I didn't know if it was just a little too crowded with all these clouds. All right, let's put this guy down. We'll put this right here. And we'll put this one down lower. I love that that little added piece. I would have never figured that out. I appreciate it. So, Anuku. I have to remember how to say that. I appreciate you sharing that because I would have tried to somehow added it to the wave. That's what I thought it was. And they don't always tell you what things are. Excuse me. You know, sometimes you have to like really look at what other people are doing. All of a sudden my voice is going. Okay, so we have that, and then I have a piece of Pacific Point, and I cut it. So I cut it, this is an A2 US. I cut it 4 1/4 by 11, and then I scored it at 5 1/2. So this is like your top folding, but I made it go this way. Because I like a card like this. Like sometimes when you have it where it opens this way, you see people and it just opens like this. So a lot of times I do this. I think it's nice and sturdy. So I'm going to put my front down just with some liquid glue. Make sure it's opening right. Actually, I'm going to flip it because I can see the edge there. And put this down. And that liquid glue gives me that little bit. And somebody told me to put beeswax on the twine. I have to try that. It gives it, lets it not be so unruly. All right, so now let's do an inside layer. And on this one, I just did the pelican again and some birds, and you're so totally awesome, which I thought was great. So let's start with the pelican. I'm going to do the same thing that we did before. And just color this in. So March 1st, you can start getting this, which I can't believe is, what, next week, right? I've got two of my girls were born March 2nd and March 5th. So March is a birthday month right in the beginning for me. So I have to get their cards out. Well, my one daughter lives with me. The other one lives up in New York. So I have to get her card out in the mail. I haven't figured what I'm going to give her yet. This is a great card for a guy, though, I think. You know, it's a real masculine looking card if you needed one. So this is the crushed curry again, and then I'm doing the smoky slate on the bird itself. I was trying to figure out, you know, if I should just put some orange in its wings or something like that, but I figured I'd make it kind of quick and easy. because there's a lot to this card. I mean, it's all easy stuff, but there's a lot of steps, right? A lot of product steps. All right, so let's put this right down here in the corner. Look at that, I got blue on my fingernail. Okay, and then we can stamp the sentiment. You're so totally awesome. Love it. Give this to my grandson. He is totally awesome. And then I just did a couple of the birds. And I was going to put them over here, but I wanted to balance it because I usually write their name up there. But I figure I can work that in. So I'm going to just do 3 birds just flying around. Okay, you could do them all the way across, whatever you want to do, or you could do another wave. So the images are really the bird, the bird, the pelican, and then the wave. The rest are sentiments, but I think they're really great sentiments. Our friendship is a thing of beauty. Happy birthday, you're totally awesome. Your strength is an inspiration. So, and where I live right near the ocean, probably 15 or 20 minutes away. And I'm on the east side of Florida, so we have waves. People surf. We have a big pier near where I live, and they always surf by the pier. I guess that's where the big waves are. Makes me nervous. But the west coast is more calm, almost like a lake. So I like the waves. I like to hear them and watch them. I could watch them all day. I don't go in, but I watch a lot. So these are the 2 cards. Thanks for joining, and thanks so much for the tip. I appreciate it. And if you watch the replay, thanks for joining that as well. And don't forget, March 1st, you can start purchasing this. There's links below if you want to purchase from me on my online store. And then look for this, it's called Savings Are in Bloom promotion. So that's the full month of March, 20% off the mini embossing cut machine, plus some bundles that coordinate with it. All right, thanks so much. You guys have a good day. Bye.